Right now, we have the world famous funny comedian. He's out of New Orleans. His name is Tony Frederick. How are you today, Mr. Frederick?
I'm good, man. I'm fabulous. How about you?
I'm hanging in there. So, for starters, so why don't you introduce yourself and, tell everybody a little about yourself?
My name's Tony Frederick. I'm a stand-up comedian, actor from New Orleans, Louisiana. Born in New Orleans, raised in New Orleans. Hanging out here, getting ready for Mardi Gras, right? Y'all know about that, right? Biggest free party on earth. It's going to be happening this week. What's going on? Yeah, I had a few shows this past week. I got some shows coming up next week. I'll be at Cafe Istanbul, February 22nd. I just finished filming an episode of NCIS New Orleans. Had a role on that. And I'll be in Terminator Genesis coming up this summer, July 1st. You might see the commercials tomorrow for that during the Super Bowl. Been in over 40 films and TV shows. Contraband, Monsters Ball, Dallas, Treme, Young and the Restless, a bunch of stuff. Making people laugh. I do.
So, what originally got you into comedy?
Can't not do it. If I tried to quit, I couldn't turn my mind off. I would still produce the jokes, and I would have no outlet to do it, and I would go crazy. I don't know, man. I've been funny, since grade school. I used to just talk about people, rib people in class, make them feel bad. Carried over into adulthood, man.
Wow. All right, and what do you prefer? Do you prefer doing movies or TV shows or doing your stand-up comedy?
Honestly, man, I've been acting about over 20 years. I've been doing comedy like 7 years this February. So obviously, acting is my passion. Comedy, I've always wanted to do. I didn't have the balls to do it until like Hurricane Katrina came and I lost all my shit. And I was like, what's the worst that could happen to me beyond being basically homeless? Like, what's somebody going to do? Heckle me? Not laugh at my joke? Like, what more could happen to me to make me feel worse? So I figured, the hell with it. I can't lose anything else. I started doing comedy, and I just really wanted to write. I didn't really want to perform. And I went out to see if the jokes that I wrote were funny, and people kept inviting me back to do shows. And guys kept booking me, and I tried to give it up a few times, and I couldn't. Like, I can't turn it off. I'd say acting, though. Comedy, it looks like a lot of stand-up comedians, they start out doing stand-up, then they get the TV shows, or they get the films, and they leave it behind. I don't think I could ever leave it behind, but my first love is always acting. It pays better.
There you go.
You know what I mean? It pays better. They treat you better. You know what I mean? You eat better. It's crazy, man, because I work with a lot of comedians who try to break into acting, and they think it's this glamorous life, and it's really not. There's a lot of hard work and waiting, and there's a lot of just rejection. So they don't realize that. It's like so when you tell a joke on stage and a few people don't laugh at it. Imagine you're, auditioning for a role in front of these executives or these producers, and you go in for like 80 auditions and you might book 2 roles. That's the same as you telling a joke in front of 80 people and 2 people laugh. So they don't realize the hard work and rejection that goes into it. And when they get a piece of it, they're like, the hell with that, man. Give me the spotlight where I'm in control of my craft. I write my own jokes. You don't have some writer telling you how to deliver something, some director directing you. You control your own medium as a comedian. So whatever you want to say, you say. You're not censored. There's so much. You might have some club owners that's like, don't talk about Jesus or whatever. But for the most part, you get to do what you want. You write, compose, produce, and perform your own stuff, whereas TV and film, it's the director's medium. It has nothing to do with you, just a pawn. So I just love being in front of the camera or on a stage. Like, that's the only time I'm truly happy is when I'm performing. I think if you have the ability to perform and you're not doing it, you fucking up, man. That's just, you got to get out there and do it.
Exactly. as you probably already know, this is live and uncensored, so you could say whatever the fuck you want. This also will be, rebroadcasted on iHeart Radio. So, what is your favorite movie that you've done so far, and why is it your favorite?
My favorite film, I did back in 98, 99 with Hallie Barry, it's Monsters Ball. It was a little low-budget film, and it taught me a lesson, about the business that, first of all, she was a really cool person to work with, really down to earth, really together directly, and I like to think I had something to do with that. It's like, actually, she was the first black female actress to win an Oscar in the lead role, and I was in that movie with her. It was a little low-budget film, She took a big pay cut to do it. I maybe got paid $280 for my part, which was like ultra-low SAG, union still, but it was low budget. And the movie blew up, And at the time, I owned a nightclub at the time, and I wasn't taking my acting career as serious as I should have been. And I just didn't have all my ducks in a row to go out to L.A., to get to the premiere, to, while the window was open, to get an agent out there and really take advantage of the opportunity. And I sort of let it slip by, and it taught me a huge lesson in this business that shit can't really happen overnight. Not saying anything not saying I blew up to become some star. I mean, it was a day player role, but it was a good role in a big film. And I think it could have opened some doors for me, and I just wasn't ready at the time. So that film right there in itself, man, I mean, it still gets great reviews. It was a good part for my personality. I think it really showed me, as my natural self. So I think it's a good, definitely my favorite to work with Hallie Barry.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. How many people out there really get to, work with Hallie Barry to begin with,
Yeah, I mean, one-on-one. Like, we're one-on-one. It's just me and her. And then there's something else that happens. I have a theater background. So we were doing the dialogue the way it was written, and the director was like, no, this is a dark film. You wouldn't be that nice. I played her boss in the film. I fired her from a job, And she was going through a lot. She was being evicted. Her husband was on death row. Her kid, got hit by a car and died. And I'm a fucking asshole who fires her from a job, right? And I'm just this guy, this businessman who's like at a packed restaurant, you're always fucking late. I'm sick of this shit. I don't care how cute you are. I already replaced you. You're out of here. So she comes into work, and I'm like, I already found somebody else. I don't need you. She's trying to argue with me. The dialogue was like I was going to let her down real nice. I felt bad for her, but business is business. And I give her like this little kiss on the cheek. And like, man, all night the night before, man, like I'm going over my lines and shit, and I'm like, fucking practicing in the mirror, looking at myself, like giving Hallie Barry this little kiss on the cheek, right? I'm thinking I'm gonna fucking kiss Hallie Barry, right? Like some fucking 13-year-old eighth grader that's like, what I mean? And next day I go in, man, and the director's like, we're running lines, we're just rehearsing, and he's like, nah, I don't think it's that. I think it's darker than this. I think you're a little bit meaner than this. You're more of an asshole. Your mind's already made up. So we rewrite the dialogue on the spot.
Oh, wow, okay.
We're improv. I'm throwing lines at her. She's throwing lines at me. I don't even know what the subtitles say because I don't know. They went from the script. This is not what we're saying. And, we did it a few different times, a few different ways. Then I didn't know what take they were going to use because we did a bunch of lines. We just threw lines. I'd feed her lines, and she would just improv back to me, and I would improv back to her. So what you see in the finished product is not how the script was written in the beginning, like as we got to set that morning. So it was really fun. It was an exercise. She had one of the best acting coaches in the business, Ivana Chubbuck, on set. I mean, she was Brad Pitt's acting coach, Charlize Theron's acting coach. Halle Barry, she won an Oscar. I mean, obviously she's a great acting coach. And I got to meet her on set, and it was, it was a good experience at a good time for me.
So do you think that that movie alone really opened up a lot of doors for you?
I think it did. At the time, I had just gotten my SAG card 2 years prior to that. I had done some TV, and New Orleans was really just starting to take off as this, the movie capital. Back then, in the early 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, it was really, the ball was just getting a roll. The tax credits were being talked about, but they weren't here yet. And then a lot of productions came in. I think what happened was, at the time when I got that part, a lot of local casting directors started recognizing. They would see me in auditions. I'd book sometimes I wouldn't, but when they saw the film, it was like, oh, okay. You know, they had an idea of who I was now. So I would start getting more auditions. And ultimately, I would book more roles. So, yeah, it did get the ball rolling for me. It did open some doors locally, you know, that I'm thankful for because, you know, I do have over 40 credits, you know, since then. I mean, it's been pretty good.
Sweet, sweet. So, you know, at what age did you decide you wanted to be an actor?
Man, you know, I fell ass backwards into it, you know. I had like a girlfriend at the time, and her sister was a model. And she told me I should model. So I started modeling. Then I started doing theater. Then I started doing commercials. And then I had an agent, and she started calling me. And I started auditioning for TV. And then I ended up booking. So I actually was modeling first just to get exposure. And I think that was maybe about 15, 16. But I never wanted to be an actor. I never I was always a fan of TV. I love TV. I watch TV, you know. Love watching films. And I think I wanted to do stand-up before I wanted to be an actor. I used to watch even at the Improv when I was a kid, and I always wanted to do that. But then I just fell backwards into acting and just started doing it. And then other people just encouraged me to keep going. Same thing with comedy. Like, I would just start doing something, and then people just wouldn't let me stop. You know, I would get phone calls to do this play, or do that play, or do this TV show, or come, you know, host this mic, or, you know, and like no one will let me quit. That's what's been going on with it.
Would you say that, so you've been pretty, you know, I know that it's been a lot of hard work. It's not easy whatsoever. I couldn't even imagine, you know, what it's like to be an actor. Yeah, I mean, just remember lines alone, and then, you know, adding comedy as well. But would you say you've been pretty lucky so far?
I think so. You know, what do you call luck when preparation meets opportunity? I mean, you got to be ready. Things happen quickly. I mean, I can get a call today and it be on set Tuesday. You know, you have to be ready. You never know when that big audition is going to come through. Luck, yeah. I mean, you never know what you're looking for. It could be a million different reasons why you got the role. 3 people passed it up before you. You wasn't maybe the first choice. Your height, color of your hair, the tone of your voice. I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons why people get and don't get roles. So yeah, man, I'm just glad to be working because I really enjoy it. You know.
So you would say you're pretty business savvy then, because dealing with corporate a lot of times is a pain in the rear.
Yeah, I understand. I mean, people have to understand it's show business. You know, and you have to understand what the TV medium is there for. It's there to sell. I mean, commercials are there. You know, TV shows are put there to make people tune in long enough for them to sell you something with a commercial, and it is what it is. You know, and you have to understand that we're just players. You know, we're not in control. Like I said, TV is a director's medium. Film is a director's medium. You want to act, go do theater. Go do Broadway and make a few $100s a week. But you're going to really get to do your craft and really act. Because when you're on stage, the director's job is done. The stage manager takes over, and the actor just acts. But if you want to make some money, you want to be famous, you got to go do TV, and you know, you're at their will. The editor, you know, might cut you out. Who knows? The studio might decide this is not right, and that's just the business of it. If you don't understand the business of it, you need to leave it alone because your heart's going to get broke. You know, that's what we do. You know, that's why the money's so good, to make you forget about guess what you're giving up with the trade-off is. You know?
Exactly. So in a way, you just a pawn to their game, but you enjoy doing that because the money pays.
And because I'm narcissistic. I mean, listen, I want to be in front of the camera. You know what I mean? I want to be seen. You know, I want people to say, you know, there's nothing like that applause you get when you're doing a show in front of 500 people, you know, 1,000 people, and you hear them laughing at one joke. You can literally feel the sound waves of their laughter hit you. You can feel that on stage when everyone's laughing in the same direction, and you can feel the vibration of the laughter hit you. Man, that's a high. It makes my dick hard. You know what I mean? I get excited. It's just like a fucking drug. You want more of it. You know? You do a film or TV. You do a TV show, and maybe 3 weeks later you'll see it air. You know, you do a film, and maybe 8 months to a year later you'll see it air, and someone will say, "Hey, man, I liked you in that show." You can't remember what your lines were. When you do a live show, when you're doing theater, show after show after show, night after night, and people come up to you and you either made them cry or you pissed them off, they wanted to kill you because you're the antagonist or whatever, you get that immediate gratification. Same with stand-up comedy. You tell that joke and that timing, and you know in your mind that setup is perfect, and you're about to hit them with some misdirection bit, and it's going to make you explode, and it does. I mean, yeah, you come a little bit in your drawers. I mean, it's just, it feels that good, man. It's like you can't, then you get to control that. That's the thing. You control that crowd. You're the guy in control. You can make them laugh when you want. You know? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes it doesn't work. You can do a bit one night, next night shit don't work, or the night before you kill. You have to learn your audience, but for the most part, you know, it's something that you wrote, that you thought of, that you composed, that you polished. Now you're delivering it, and you control how people feel. I mean, that's a powerful thing. You got 400 strangers in a room that don't know you from shit, and you can make these people laugh at something you thought was funny and put a twist on. I don't think people realize how powerful that is. You make people forget about all of their problems in an hour. They're not even thinking about the shit that went on that day or the thing they got to face tomorrow. For that 1 hour, they're in a different world. They're just listening to you talk shit, and they're having a great time. I mean, that has to put you on some sort of high, you know, and I love it.
That's all. I love your professionalism. The fact of you're like, yeah, you know, Hollywood, you know, is show business, and you know what it's about. But at the same time, you know, you're very professional about things, and you see things from a different aspect than most people. It shows a level of maturity that most people don't have.
Well, I think some people, you know, they have this vision of what they want it to be, and it is, you can't change it. It is what it is. And but people just disappoint. They set themselves up for disappointment. You have to understand what it is. You have to go into it. I mean, listen, I was a business owner for 10 years. I owned a nightclub. I mean, you have to understand what business is. You have to understand what your role is and how to play it, you know? And I think if you don't do that, you're just setting yourself up for some failure and heartbreak. But, you know, I've been doing it, like I said, I've been in the business, since 93, you know, like 22 years. So I'm pretty well versed in how things go. I've been let down and disappointed before. I've gotten my hopes up. I've done an episode and told people, hey, look for me. You know, I've done a Southwest Airlines commercial I was going to air during the Super Bowl, and I told everyone to look for me, and the thing never aired at all, ever. You know, I got paid, but it didn't air.
Oh, that had to be.
Or your episode comes on, and they didn't shoot your POV. I mean, fellow actor's POV. They only shot yours, and maybe they can see the back of your head, and they hear you lying, but they don't see your face. And that's it. That's your role. That's your cut. That's what happened. You know, and you get upset, and it's like, man, it's not about you. But you're just a piece of the story. So I've gotten used to it, you know, and I understand what it is, you know.
So did they ever give you a reason why they never, you know, aired your commercial?
No, they don't. They don't have to. They paid you for a service. You know, you went there. You went to production. They fed you. They signed a contract. They paid you what you agreed upon. That's their product now. They can do whatever they want with it. They can shelve it. They can air it. They can not air it. You know, you were paid for your service. That's it.
So you're paid for your service, and, you know, if they decide they don't want, well, fuck you. You got paid.
That's like, look, man, but if you have a contract to cut my grass, you know what I mean?
Okay.
And you cut my lawn and I throw a party on it the next week. You're like, hey, what are you doing, man? That was some of my best work. You can't put that table like, fuck you. I paid you for your service. Get the fuck. I mean, like, you can't tell me what to do with my lawn after you cut it, asshole. You were paid. Get it, you know? That's how it is. You have to look at it through those eyes, you know?
So, you know, is it a lot of adapting? Because you said, you know, they may be feeling you at one show and then not at the next venue. You know, as far as being a comedian, is it a lot of adapting, you know, based on the crowd that you see? And how do you get ready to, you know, change up your routine if it's not working?
Well, usually I'm not opening. Usually, I mean, I do MC, you know, and that's a different skill set in its own right. I mean, you have to really feel the crowd out and get them on your side. But usually I'm either featuring or headlining, you know, and the thing about that is I'll get to see what someone else is doing and what's working. I have a set, like a script, sort of but I follow it loosely. Like, I'll have a set, and more times than not, I'll get to the mic and I'll abandon the entire set and just start talking. You know, I'll just start talking, and what I say just, I don't think it's particularly funny, but people like it. But it's not about me. It's about the audience. So I'll just start talking, and if I see I have them going a certain way, I'll just continue telling those stories, you know, and they're bits, but I construct them like they're stories. And if I see they're going with it, I'll keep going in that direction. I'll fall back on the material if what I'm doing is not working. Like, I have material, but I'd rather just be more organic about it, because when you see me, yeah, each show is going to be a little bit, it's a living art. It's going to be a different show every night. You're not going to see me one night, and you're going to see me do this bit. Then you're going to see me the next night, and you'll see the same bit, but it's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try something that I didn't try before. I'm going to deliver it a different way. I'm going to maybe go off on a tangent. You know, there's maybe someone in the audience that I could play off of, or whatever. It's a living art. You know, I'm going to do more with it. So, you know, I like to just have fun, man. I go out there, I start talking, I have fun, I'm making people laugh. You know, sometimes I'm having a drink. And but I do the material. It's just that it's so, you know, you get to do that. That's the thing. You don't have a director say, no, cut. Let's try it this way. I mean, you get to just have fun with it. You do what the hell you want.
And that's why you pretty much like comedy, because you're able to, you know, run the table for the most part. Whereas in a movie, you know, you gotta, you know, change up as they, you know, told you to, because you signed that contract.
That and the fact that I get to do something when I'm not acting.
Awesome.
In between gigs, I get to perform, you know, because I need to. You understand? Like, I have to perform, you know. So it helps me with my timing. It helps me with a lot of tools that you use as an actor. I mean, you have tools in your little toolkit that you use as an actor, and you have to keep those skills sharp. You know, and being on stage and working on the timing, the delivery, the presence, you know, all of that, the movement, finding the light. I mean, all of those different things, you know, just thinking, being quick. Because I use those same skills in acting. In auditions, I go in sometimes, the director might say, get away from the script, let's improv this. Let's see where your head is. Let's see what you think about this character. And stand-up helps me with that, you know. It's sort of like, I use stand-up so, you know, whereas I'm recreating a piece time, like on a play, what I do is I remove that fourth wall, which is the wall between you and the audience, and then I interact with them. So yeah, I'm doing the act, I'm doing the bit, but then I involve them. So it's like me breaking the rule of theater, but I'm using it to build my acting chops. I'm using both. You understand what I mean? I'm using one to better the other, both ways.
And that's what it's about. You know, it's about, you know, entertaining the crowd and everything. So, where was the best place that you got the most, you know, feedback doing comedy so far?
Well, Boomtown Casino in Harvey, Louisiana, is right outside of New Orleans, a few miles across the river, across the Mississippi. There was a huge room there, 500 people. Touring national headliners would come through, and local comics would, like, you know, try to hustle a set in. Let me get a guest set, you know, and you would go in and do the guest set. Then the crowd would write on the back of the papers that they liked you, if they wanted to see you back. And I became a crowd favorite over that, man. I can really relate to those people. So it got to the point where they started asking me to feature, open for these national headlines. And then I did that about 5 or 6 times, and every time I would go up, man, the crowd would love me. And I would do different material. I maybe do a half hour, 25 to a half hour every set. And then sometimes it'd be 2 shows a night, and I would just try new stuff, and they loved it. And then one night, you know, I was going to hang out with a date, and the guy who ran the show called me and said, hey, man, are you still coming out tonight? I said, yeah. He's like, well, look, the headliners, we had co-headliners. Neither one can show up. Can you headline? And I've been asking this guy to headline for 2 years. And he kept saying, oh, no, the people want a name and all this, that. I went out, man. I ended up co-headlining with another guy, Mike Weldon, who's very funny. Man, and we killed that show. You know, I maybe did about 45. Mike maybe did an hour. And we really just killed that show. And the people were like, why don't they ever let you headline? You should come back. And then there was a comedy competition to Gulf South's funniest comedian, man. Oh, no, Louisiana's funniest person. One Gulf South's funniest comedian. And then we had 50 comedians sign up for it. And then I was down to the top 3. And, man, you're talking 500 people in the room. We would do show after show, semifinals, finals. And I just had a blast, man. That's when I could really feel that presence of playing a big room. And you could feel that laughter hit you on stage. Like you could feel the sound waves. I'm telling you, it was something that I'll never forget.
All right, and you mentioned that you were, out in New Orleans when Katrina happened and everything. Right. Do you care to, speak on what that was, like, being there, or no? Because it was too gruesome.
Katrina was, I lost my house, my dog, my car, my clothes, my money, my business. I lost everything in Katrina. Not Katrina the hurricane, Katrina my ex-wife. That'd be. It's like, man, I had a business at a nightclub. I mean, I went underwater, and I lost a bunch of shit, but it gave me the courage. Like like I said, I mean, how far down can you knock me after all of that shit? My house is underwater, my business is underwater, my car was underwater. My wife got knocked up. I'm living in some place in Houston, kinda, They won't let us back into the city. I was like, I needed to get some shit off my mind. And, like, comedy became, like, real cathartic for me to get on stage and just talk about shit that I was thinking. And I just wanted to write. So I started writing. And then really, I think Katrina thrust me onto the stage. Without it, I probably would have been lazy. And maybe, I don't know. Maybe I would have by now, but who knows? The city is fucked up, I have jokes about it, but I don't like to tell 10-year-old jokes. But I mean, you got to get something out of negative shit. I think comedy is what I got out of Katrina.
But basically, you were on, this bright career and, had, things rolling for you, and then within a heartbeat, it's all taken away. That had to be hard.
Yeah, it did. And, but I was still getting work. I had just done a couple of supporting lead roles. I did one on CBS movie. I did another one on a Lifetime movie, and that was like 2004. I just did a national commercial. I had got another role in a TV pilot that was supposed to get picked up by Lifetime, but it didn't. So I was working before and after Katrina. All the production just moved to Shreveport in Natchitoches, and we were still filming. So I was still getting work as an actor, and I had an opportunity to move to L.A. I just didn't because I had to come back and build, and, I chose to be responsible. Instead of following that path again, the second time I missed out. I didn't go when I should have gone, but... man, it is what it is,
Yeah, but that, gave you the opportunity to do your comedy and, entertain crowds, which you love doing anyway.
Yeah, and I think that was bound to happen anyway. I think Katrina just pushed it along a little faster. Because, for one, I didn't have anything else to do. I had to do something. Then I just couldn't, like I said, I couldn't turn my brain off. I can't stop these thoughts. I can't control the shit I think. So I needed a sounding board. There was no Facebook then. You couldn't get on there and write jokes and have people steal them. I mean, it was it was like basically just, you got on stage, you found open mic, you got shit off your chest.
And the thing that's different I noticed about you is I don't really see a Twitter for you, and then even your Facebook page, there's really no way to respond. Is that due to you're so busy, or is that just due to you're just not into today's generation? Or I mean, what's the backstory?
Oh no, I have a Twitter. I'm at Creole Comic on Twitter.
Okay, I do apologize.
Go to my website is creolecomic.com. On Instagram, I think it's either Creole Actor or Creole Comic. If you look for Creole Comic or Creole Actor, you're going to find me. If you Google Tony Frederick, you're going to find me. If you go to my website, it has a link to every page I have. Twitter, Instagram, Tumblr, Pornhub, everything that I'm on, man. You can find me on you go to my website, and you'll find all the links to you have my CD on iTunes, on Spotify. You can download my CD. You can purchase it through Reverbnation. But I'm around. Yeah, I make the weather. I'm all over. You can go to Tony Frederick, comedian Tony Frederick. I think on my Tony Frederick page, on just my regular Facebook page, I have it where you can't write on my wall. Because I like to just talk shit, and I don't really give a fuck what you got to say. It's for me to just throw shit out that I'm thinking about. I don't really give a fuck what you want to say. Like, you see I'll post comments, and then you'll reply, and I'm like, I won't respond because it's not, I don't give a fuck what you think. It's just for me to get shit out, and, you know, like I'll make, you know, something, whatever, like a real friend. But for the most part, I'm not in the conversation. But on my comedian page, yeah, you can like leave comments, whatever. You know, I'm posting about shows I'm doing, whatnot. Then I have my acting page, which is Anthony Michael Frederick. That's my union SAG name. You want to go on IMDb, you can look me up. But if you just Google me, man, everything will pop up under Tony Frederick.
See, I normally do my research. There's, me dropping the ball. I do apologize. But I will say this: you are extremely, extremely funny. I played a couple of your bits on our shows and whatnot, even during the music, in between the music. I just think it's a good way for people to lighten up and everything. So what I love about you is you're very real, just like you just said. You don't give a fuck what people think, but of course. On the same token, if they're at your show, you're gonna tolerate their feedback because they're
definitely, man. I appreciate the support. I listen to I listen to it, but I don't use Facebook as like something. I'm not a blogger. I'm not gonna sit there and type out some thesis about why maybe I'm sorry I upset you or how you feel about it. I'm not there for that. I'm there to just get this thing off my chest before I forget it, before that thought turns into vapor. I'm not there for conversation. When you want to talk, come to the show. I'll talk to you after the show. I'll have a drink with you. I'm very approachable. I'm just, I may sound like an asshole on stage, but I'm not. I'm a pretty nice guy. It's an act. It's a part of me. It's that other side of me. I have layers, right? So
exactly.
I love the fans, man. I love the support. Don't get me wrong. I just don't want to sit on Facebook and have conversations all day. I don't have time for that shit.
Yeah, exactly. You got movies to make. You got comedy, shows to prepare for. Some people just don't get that. If anyone, is listening, they want to call in, you're welcome to it, 1-855-403-9071. Sometimes people do, sometimes they don't. But just like you, people have lives and, they're busy. Not everybody, hangs out on Facebook all day. So...
Right. You want to talk, man? Come to the show. I'll talk to you. We'll sit down and talk about life and what real people go through and everyday stuff.
All right. With that
crown world and talk.
With that being said, so where are your shows that you have coming up? What do you have coming up this year?
Man, I have stuff right now. If you go to creolecomic.com or Reverbnation, all my shows will be on there. But I know I'm doing. I can do shows at House of Blues in New Orleans, Howlin' Wolf in New Orleans. We'll do shows in Covington, Louisiana, at Rockin' Blues, Mandeville, Louisiana, Interference Sports Bar, Tacos and Beer on St. Charles Avenue in New Orleans, Cafe Istanbul in New Orleans. Different, man. It's comedy a lot of places, man. The Dragon's Den, Hi-Ho Lounge, The Den, which is connected to Howlin' Wolf, Siberia on Monday nights. We mix it up with a little burlesque sometimes. So you can catch me almost any night of the week in New Orleans on the mic, or like when I get on the road, I decide to go different places too. It'll be posted on my Reverbnation or my creolecomic.com website. I have an app too. You have an Android phone? Download my app to the App Store, the Play Store.
Exactly. And what I love is you really touch home. You do a lot of things out in New Orleans, and you're really, the hometown, hero in a way.
Never looked at it like that. I just talk about what I see or what's on my mind,
So, do you care to do, a little skit for the audience real quick, or? You don't have time.
I don't see, that's the thing. Like, I don't really have anything prepared. Like, I don't know. Like, without an audience, man, like, I'm just talking to myself. You know what I mean? You want, I tell you what. Go to my SoundCloud page. I have some bits I had just put on there, and there's some premises I've been working on. It's just me ranting. Like, it's sort of like a podcast, but without anyone listening. Yeah, my SoundCloud page, Tony Frederick, you can get all that stuff on there. New stuff I'm working on.
Yeah, there are actually plenty of people listening right now. It just happens sometimes people just want to listen. I mean, they just don't know what to say when it comes to, comedians that are tour all over, and especially actors and whatnot. Other than friends and family, people don't know what to say because they're not used to having an outlet to say something.
Right now, I mean, dating is a thing that, like, I'm recently divorced. And, I found dating, like, to be kind of hard. Like, it was hard for me, especially after I got married. That was a bitch. Dating got real difficult after that. And then, like, dating girls got challenging for me, like, because, I like young women who look good. And then I would date girls the way I play Candy Crush. Like, we can fool around for a little bit, but as soon as you start asking me for money, I got to delete you from my phone. That's how it sort of got.
Right.
Then you got these freaks out here. I mean, you might date girls who like to masturbate with cucumbers. I had one like that. She used to ask me to help her masturbate with a cucumber, but she douched a lot, so we just ended up making a bunch of pickles. It was kind of crazy. So dating is just like one of those things, man. Like, I'm shallow. I'm real shallow. Like, if I go on a blind date, it might not work out right. If I go on a blind date and girls ugly, I'm gonna pull a fire alarm and leave the scene. Catfish and just run out that bitch. I'm just not. Maybe, I don't know, man. It's just difficult for me. I don't know, man.
All right, so
man, it's hard without an audience. Just talking to myself on the phone.
I totally understand. So, I usually ask bands, about if somebody wanted to be, wanted to join a band. But I'm going to, flip the script real quick. For somebody that wants to get into acting or comedy, knowing how hard it is, what advice would you give them to, motivate them?
Do something else. I don't like competition. World needs plenty of bartenders. I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's hard. Be ready for a lot of rejection. That's the advice. You gotta love it. If you're gonna do it. Commit to it fully. Like, fully commit to it. Like, fully commit to it like a lie you would tell your girlfriend if you were out all night. Like, fully commit to that shit. Like, you gotta really, you can't, like, sometime. You can't say, oh, I'm going to do this now, then I quit. Then I'm going to do it. No. You got to love it. It's going to break your heart, but you got to love it. So that's my advice. Like, you have to fully commit. Or don't fuck with it. Like, leave it alone. You'll spend a lot of money. You'll waste a lot of time. And you're going to look stupid.
Exactly. So, what originally made you submit to us?
Man, I was on Reverbnation, and I was just looking for some opportunities out there. I know it's made for musicians, and it's not really there for comedians, but they have comedians on there, and there's some submissions that'll say for comedians. And I just, shot in the dark, just threw some stuff out to see who would respond to it. I need exposure. I don't like to talk.
Exactly. I mean, we played, a couple of your skits, and we're going to continue to do so. And we definitely, would like you back on, a few months down the line so we can promote it more and, get you, a bunch of, listeners that, will, talk with you and everything. But we do appreciate you coming down.
That's cool, yeah, man. That's cool. Thank you very much for thinking of me and selecting me. And I look forward to that. Definitely, one day when I have more free time. Right now is like I'm sort of pressed for time today. But definitely I'll have some stuff prepared and we can, have some fun.
Exactly. That's what it's about. But thank you so much, Mr. Tony Frederick. look forward to everything that you got going on and everything, and I'm definitely going to, share all your links and everything, and, try to get you out there, a lot more and get that page, in the thousands. So.
All right. Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, man. All right. Well, you have yourself a wonderful day.
You too. Take it easy.
All right. Take care.